All right, my friends, well, welcome back. Today I was hoping to make a walk and talk video, but it's been raining out here lately, and I kind of enjoy it. I could have made this on my back porch, but I like the sound of rain dripping on the car roof. It's a very relaxing sound. I want to talk to you about a few things, share a few of my thoughts with you, and I'd love to hear your feedback. So drop a comment down below. Give me your impressions, and let's see what becomes of all of this. All right. I do thank you for watching and joining me on this very rainy Sunday afternoon. Let's address the elephant in the room, and that is my beard, or my lack of beard. So I haven't made a video since this occurred, but I was kind of cross-training or riding along with a few guys from a different department within our company, and I just wanted to clean my beard up. It was obviously much longer than this. It wasn't a big beard. It was a short beard, but it was longer than this, obviously. Some of you have seen my recent live streams, and so you know where my beard was at. So I was cleaning it up. That's all I wanted to do, was just clean it up. And I was fading in a portion of my beard, and I had chosen to use the 6mm guard in a certain area just to fade in. And I didn't have my reading glasses on. Of course, my eyes aren't what they used to be. I have to rely upon these much more than I'd like to admit. Much more than I'd like to. It's a fact of life for me now. Doesn't matter how I feel about it. It's just the way it is. And I chose the wrong guard. Instead of selecting the 6mm guard, I put on the 3mm guard. And I was just going and going. And I mean, you might think, well, you should have known immediately. Well, I did pretty much know immediately that I had chosen the wrong one. But when I cut in, it was too late. I saw what I had done, and I said, well, I guess I know what I'm doing now. It was so much of a difference that it would have been hard. I mean, I guess I could have done something with it to make it, I don't know, I could have done something different with it. I just thought, why not? Why not? Why not just take it all down to a 3mm, which is pretty stinking short. I mean, actually, 3mm is shorter than what you see here a little bit, just a little bit shorter than what you see here. I've let it go for a couple of days. And yeah, I just thought, well, why not? It's summertime. It's about that time of the year that if you're gonna go with a really short beard, so to speak, this would be it. So I just went with it. And I'm not one to really have bad feelings about that. If I make a mistake trimming, I can either make the trim look good, or I'll just take it all the way down. I really don't care. I am not so, my identity, my image is not so attached to my beard that I'm afraid to do that, okay? There's a lot of guys and a lot of women, and this really goes for men and women, but I guess men in particular because we're talking about beards. There's a lot of people that are so attached to their image, the way they have it, that they will not compromise at all. They go into a job and they're trying to get a job somewhere, and they say, hey, do you think you could shave your beard off? A lot of guys will say, no, I absolutely will not do it. That's fine. I mean, everybody has a choice to make their trade-offs for everything, right? You have to decide whether it's worth it or not. I'm not saying you should always do it, but I don't think a person's image or self-esteem should be entirely wrapped up in their image. We have to be careful. We have to really take care of our image. We have to be concerned with how we look. We want to look clean. We want to look good. We want to look presentable. But if you get too tied into one particular kind of look, then you really limit yourself. And so I don't mind changing it up. And as many of you know who've watched my videos for a long time, I change it up quite a bit. I go from short to long to really long to, all sorts of, I don't know, all sorts of beards and non-beards. So anyway, I don't know how long I'll do this here right now, but it's kind of fun for me. So instead of begrudgingly accepting the situation, I just embraced it. And, I figure, you got to have more to yourself than just a beard, right? There's no more meaning to it than what I assign to it. And I guess really, all in all, that's what I hope that you guys get from this video today, is things in life oftentimes have no more meaning than what we assign to them. Now, don't get me wrong, there is intrinsic value to everything, or a lack of intrinsic value to some things. Sure. But I think a lot of the problems that we have in life, a lot of things that get us into trouble, are because of the kind of meaning and the amount of meaning we assign to things. And this is where we have to be very, very careful. We fall in love with somebody and they mean so much to us. We marry them, we have children by them, we love our children so much, and they mean so much, and they should. All these things should mean a lot to you. But there's a lot of gray areas. There's a lot of things that occur in life, that you have to be willing to reevaluate what something means, sometimes right down to the very moment. You might have a job that means a lot to you because of the kind of pay that you have, or what it affords you to be able to do, and all the opportunities it presents. Other things enter into our lives beyond that, and we assign value or lack of value to that. Sometimes we don't assign enough value to something, and then we suffer the consequences of not showing enough attention or enough depth to something, and we don't give something enough credit, and then it's taken away from us because we didn't hold it close. That's an instance of not assigning enough value. And there are times when we assign too much value because of our pride. Someone says something about us, and we say, well, I don't like how you talk to me. You should respect me. And so therefore, because you didn't respect me, you're going to pay the price. And some people have landed in prison because of a mentality like that, because they've assigned too much value to something. They've allowed themselves to overreact. And in some cases, it's not that dramatic. In a lot of cases, we become depressed. We become sad and sullen because we've assigned so much value to something that was eventually ripped away from us, and now we don't know what to do without it. And sometimes when you go back and reevaluate as time has gone on, you find out that it really shouldn't have meant that much to me. Sometimes as a matter of survival, we need to pull back and estimate the real worth of something. The real worth. I'm not saying that you should undervalue something that is actually valuable, but you should establish some kind of worth to things that are no longer beneficial to you, things that are hurting you. Change the value that has, and it'll change your mindset, and it makes a huge difference. Here's an example, a much different example of what I'm talking about. Many of you know that my mother died almost 4 months ago, and it's just one of those sad facts of life that you have to come to grips with, is that you're going to lose your parents at some point. Hopefully you lose them before they lose you, right? And I'm not saying that you feel that way, but your parents certainly feel that way. No one wants to precede their children in death, and that happens a lot. And that hurts a lot. But I lost my mother. It hurts, and I lost my father 20 years ago. And I've discovered a few things about myself in the preceding months and years following their deaths. And with my mom, it's only, like I said, been 4 months. And so I remember when my father died, I'm for several years, I used to have dreams about my dad in different ways. Like sometimes the dreams were just about him. Sometimes they were involving him and I. And I'd wake up and think, oh, you know, I'd forget that he had passed away, and I got to call him. And I realized, oh, I can't. And it hurts. Well, so I had a dream about my mother the other night. And I woke up from it, and it really bothered me for 2 days. And here's what it consisted of. It wasn't long. Most dreams are not long. But I remember in my dream, all it was, I don't even remember what the setting was. I don't remember what was in the surrounding, I don't even remember what was in the vicinity of her and I. But she was somehow like sitting down or something, looking up at me. And she gave me a mean look. You know, kind of like how moms do when they disapprove of something. And my mom was very good at that, by the way. and sometimes my relationship with my mother was turbulent at times, okay? It wasn't always the best relationship, but I love my mom, especially in the last remaining years. We grew a lot closer, but I remember she gave me a mean look, like she was like really unhappy with me. And so I just gave that look right back to her. And when I gave that look right back to her, like I was standing up to her, showing her that I could do the same thing, her look immediately changed and became very sad and very upset, and she started to cry. And even in my dream, I changed my mind instantly about that. I was like, oh, I didn't know it would go there, because my mom had such a hard exterior sometimes that's not a look I would have seen ever in my life, except for one time. You know, shortly before my mom, maybe shortly, depends on your scope of time. There was a time when we knew she was getting more sick, and we were trying to help her. And my brothers had told me, I don't think she's doing that well. She's having a rough time. She's not feeling real good. I think she's getting depressed. And I called, and I sent my mom a video message, and I said, Mom, I know you're probably having a hard time. I heard that you're kind of down and depressed, and it's got to be really rough. And she fired off a video back to me. She goes, oh, I'm fine. You know, if you really want to know how I feel about something, why don't you just ask me? Don't ask anybody else. And so I'm going to see, it's not totally unlike my mom. I look back now and realize that maybe it was just part of her trying to deal with what she was going through. And she got kind of upset when I responded to her. I said, Mom, you know, I know you told me 3 times in that video that I was not to ask anybody else, but just talk to you about how you feel, and I will do that. But you don't need to tell me over and over and over again. You'd have to hear it, and it might sound kind of horrible that I said that to her, but it was just the way she said it to me, because I was kind of like pushing back a little bit. You might be able to see how that relates to my dream. That was the kind of relationship I had with her. My mom would initiate a negative emotion, and I would, growing up, stand up to her, because it was, sometimes it could be toxic. Well, in my dream, when I saw that, though, and her face changed, when I saw that she was really sad, I felt really sad, and it bothered me for a good 2 days. Because my mom's gone now. But here's the thing. That dream has as much value as I assigned to it. It has as much meaning to it as I assigned to it. Because when I woke up and realized it was just a dream, I thought to myself, what did that dream really mean? And I went through all these different, I could have come up with probably 20 different things that dream might have meant. Right? You might even be thinking to yourself, well, what that dream meant was this and this. If you go to a dream book, or you go to a website that tells you what dreams mean, it'll say all sorts of different things. Believe me, I've looked before about different ones. They're wide and varied. It could bother me. But in the end, I just said to myself, you know what? It's just a dream. It's just a dream. It doesn't have to depress me. I can't do anything about it. It's beyond my control. Much like shaving my beard too short. It's beyond my control. Well, let it go. There are some things that we just need to let go. There are some things we don't know how to assign meaning to. we're at a loss. We're at a loss for how to assign meaning to something. So it could really get you down. It could make you angry. It could make you depressed. It could make you, depending on how you feel about something, it could make you happy, depending on what your final assessment is. It could make you feel all sorts of ways, but feelings can get you in trouble either way, regardless. So my advice to you is be careful what you assign value to. Be careful how much meaning you give something, because not everything has to mean a lot. And some individuals like myself have a tendency to give too much meaning to too many things. And it's not healthy. And so on one side, the beard, it doesn't really mean a lot. It means something, just like a lot of things in your life. They mean something, but it doesn't have to mean everything. It doesn't even have to mean a lot. It could mean a lot, but it doesn't mean you couldn't get it back. You just have to reevaluate, reassess, step back, and ask yourself, how much meaning do I want to give A, B, and C? And I hope that helps. Because, as I've gotten older, I've realized more and more as the years have gone by, I have so little control over what occurs, how things unfold. And sometimes I feel like I have so little control over how I feel, but I do have control over how I feel, and we must get control over that, because we act on what we feel. And sometimes we feel horrible. Sometimes we feel good about things we shouldn't. It's not good to not have a conscience, but it's appropriate to just be mindful and think about things in the right way. All right, guys, I hope that's helped. Hope it's meant something to you. If it has, leave a comment down below. Give me your thoughts. Share your experiences with me and anyone else who reads the comments, and let us know how this has struck home with you in a different way, maybe, and how you've learned from it. All right. I do thank you for listening, and I hope you have a good day. It's very nice. It's very, very nice, very calming to sit in here and listen to the raindrops hit the car roof. Yeah, I could go to sleep to that. All right, guys, I will catch you on the next one. In the meantime, be wise.